Okay, something absolutely insane and completely unprecedented just happened. Runescape posted a video titled The Future of MTX, Our Approach and Your Involvement. And along with that, also a lengthy blog. And it outlines the current plan to protect the future of RuneScape 3 by dialing back and in certain cases outright removing microtransactions. This is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely unprecedented. Even for the games industry, this is unprecedented. This blog came out about 8 hours ago, and I have been in the absolute best mood all day, and I am so cautiously optimistic and excited about the future of RuneScape in a way that I can honestly say I have never been at any other point in my life. If you don't want my thoughts on the video itself and more want my thoughts on the overall changes and everything else that's going on, and me reading and going through the blog in a ton of detail, skip to this timestamp right here. But with that said, let's get right into my hot off the press reaction of all of this news at the moment it dropped while I was streaming earlier today. I'm so scared, dude. I'm so scared. Let's get into this. Oh, man. I have never been so nervous and so excited for a thing ever. I am not going to ramble. I'm not going to preamble.
MTX approach is harming RuneScape.
Good start. Oh, man. Okay.
And it's time that we took action.
I'm just gonna roll it.
RuneScape 3 is almost 25 years old.
No way.
And we wholeheartedly believe that this game has many more years ahead of it. If we want to go from where we are today, where, bluntly, our population isn't really growing, to decades of a booming community, then it's time we take some big swings, even when they aren't easy or simple. This isn't a fluffy thing to say. It's our mission statement. We love this game and it deserves to thrive. The era of a tainted RuneScape 3 is coming to an end. We want every single player to feel the same ownership that we fostered so well in our approach to old school. There are many areas of the game that require real change, but the area we're talking about specifically today is our approach to microtransactions. Today, MTX and RuneScape is a major part of how we fund the game.
True.
Despite the continual community feedback out there in the world, whether on Reddit, on a survey, or at RuneFest,
correct,
we've been tentative to take action because of that reality.
All of this is true.
And that change now comes with real risk. But it's time to be brave.
Oh my God.
Because frankly, sticking to the path we're on also represents real risk to this game, both in its ability to have a growing community and to how it sustains itself. We're now on a mission to rejuvenate RS3's future with a firm focus on game integrity. That means thinking about the ways that we monetize, how the game looks, the broader player experience, and our approach to producing grade A content. We've run surveys, we've captured feedback. Now is the time for us to stop talking and get actions on the table.
Oh man.
Today is all about how we're doing that. And so on that note, I'd like to hand over to the great team working on our mission to transform our approach to MTX and what you can expect to see in the months ahead.
The players have been saying this forever. And people that don't play have been saying forever that they don't play because of the MTX. So to hear the CEO say, yeah, one of our flagships is actually tainted by MTX, it's been preventing growth because of MTX? Yes! We've been saying it forever. The CEO hasn't been saying it forever. I think like the stuff that we've heard about MTX has always been, oh, it's so important. It's a non-starter. Like it doesn't matter. No, it's all good. This is what it is.
We need to test our thinking on big changes we want to make to how MTX is approached in RuneScape.
We also must address the unhealthy relationship of microtransactions within our game design.
Yes!
To make those changes, we need to better understand the implications any change could have for the game, from design to player behavior to the game's current operating model.
To find what works, we need to run a series of experimental changes with our aptly named experiments.
Okay.
Beginning next month, we'll be testing a new experiment each month for 3 months.
So this is starting next week.
Our first experiment in July turns off Treasure Hunter entirely.
Let's go!
With only stars and knowledge bombs available for direct purchase during the experimental period.
Double let's go!
Our second experiment, in August, runs during our next Double XP event, where we'll disable the ability to use MTX-based skilling items, like proteans and dummies, for the duration of the event.
Our third experiment in September will see us launch a host of cosmetic overrides onto the marketplace, including items previously available only via Treasure Hunter.
During these 3 months, we'll also launch one longer-running test.
I have so many thoughts!
Cosmetic-free worlds.
Oh,
we expect these to be available for at least 4 weeks, and it will help us gauge interest in a more grounded visual identity for the game.
Thanks to the whole team working hard on making this happen. This has never been done before, So please do provide the team and your fellow players the space for constructive dialogue throughout this process. It won't be easy. Experimenting means there could be imperfections, which is why we're involving you and being open about our challenges. Through what we learn in the data and with your feedback, we can find our path forwards. We know where we want to be, we just need to figure out how to get there. We're as serious as can be about overhauling RS3's approach to monetization and creating a future where our success is measured by the size, the engagement, and the satisfaction of our community. The process of change starts today as we head towards an exciting new era for this beautiful game. If you'd like to know more, please do head on over to runescape.com for a detailed blog on our decision making and some commitments on how we'll approach this. Thank you as always for watching, and we'll see you in Gielinor.
Holy crap. Does anyone else feel emotional? I'm like emotional. Like, you're crying in the office? I've wanted this forever, like since I was like 14 years old. And I know people are going to be skeptical and like, it hasn't happened yet. I'll believe it when I see it. And I think all that is super valid and super justified, but let me be happy for a second. Okay? An admission that RuneScape 3's MTX is bad for the growth of the game, a desire to take risks in improving it, and then we've got 3 experiments. Experiment 1, you can't buy direct XP. You can only buy bonus XP. Difference between bonus XP and direct XP is bonus XP means you actually still have to play the game to progress, which is amazing for skilling profitability. It's amazing for the gameplay loop. It's amazing for everything. You get to speed up your progression, but you still have to play the game. Second experiment is a double XP event where all of the MTX DXP nonsense is disabled. So you actually have to play the game again. And then the third one is cosmetics that are directly purchasable. None of this spin enough spins to get a token that you can redeem for a piece of an outfit. None of that nonsense. Just let me buy the thing that I want. And then the fourth one is cosmetic-free worlds, which I personally am really excited about because you guys know me. I usually don't wear a lot of cosmetics when I'm playing because especially on an Iron Man, I want to like feel like I'm wearing the gear that I went and got. I'm absolutely shook. And obviously they're experiments. So like, you know, if it doesn't work, you know, if it isn't feasible or whatnot. But the fact that this is being done and it's starting next week, I don't know what to say. It's like all the stuff that everyone has been yelling about MTX being bad for years that has never been officially talked about at all has all been talked about in one video. Like this covered all of the bases. And this would be so good for creators too, because RuneScape 3's reputation is absolutely terrible. You guys know this. I get 10 comments a day of people saying the game you're playing is terrible and stupid. And a lot of that is literally because of the MTX that has been a thing for so long. This is how you make a game cool again and fun again, and you improve the perception of it again, is by saying, screw money, we want growth. Dude, I don't know. I feel like when this experiment runs, is it bad that my first instinct is when the experiment runs that you can buy bonus XP only, is it bad that I want to buy it? Like I want to support that with my wallet and say, yes, please do this. Being able to direct purchase cosmetics, this is what I've wanted since when did the Squeal of Fortune come out? How old was I when the Squeal of Fortune came out? February 2012. Yeah, I was 14. No, I wasn't. I was 15 years old. A YouTube creator for 12 years. And for that entire 12 years, it's been a fact about RuneScape. The MTX, you don't talk about it. It's just bad. It's just bad, but you can't talk about it. Either that or you know it's driving people away from the game and people are always going to make fun of it, but you turn a blind eye. Do you guys know the MTX in RuneScape is the reason why I play Iron Man? Literally the main reason I play Iron Man 90% of my streams is because I don't want to promote the MTX because I feel so badly about it. You guys maybe don't know this, maybe you do, but when I met Anna and we became friends, she had like a treasure hunter addiction because, and she's okay with me saying this, it's designed to hook people in. And she was one of those people. And one of the first things that happened when we met is I helped her get a payment block set up on her account so she couldn't buy keys anymore. That is my relationship with Treasure Hunter. It's dangerous. I'm just, like, here's a good example. My lowest level Zuckcape account. Really cool idea. Would have been way cooler, except that people were like, okay, but the best way to train all these skills is MTX, because then you won't gain HP XP and stuff like that. And it's like, technically, if you're getting the lowest level Zuck Cape, the way to do it is to spin Treasure Hunter. And that's insane, and that's wrong, and that shouldn't ever have been a thing, but it has been a thing. Yeah, I'm a little emotional, to be entirely honest. Like, I want this to happen so bad. It would be so good for everyone. It would be good for the perception of the game. It'd be good for the players. It'd be good for you guys. It'd be good for creators, because all of my work is promoting MTX, and that is something that sits on my conscience. Every day I get comments of, hey, I started playing RuneScape because of your videos. And I'm like, wow, great, that's awesome, so cool. And I'm also like, genuinely, this opening of
our MTX approach is harming RuneScape.
Yes, just that line. My friends left for old school because of Treasure Hunter. All of us have friends. One in the chat, if you have friends that left to old school because of MTX. I know I have. Everybody has. This is a fact of RuneScape. And people sometimes go, well, if you don't engage with it, but it has impacted all of us, whether you're an Ironman, whether you're a main account, it doesn't matter. It's time we take action on our approach to microtransactions in RuneScape. We have lots going on behind the scenes to ensure RuneScape has decades of community growth ahead of it. While there's plenty we're working on, part of this must be addressing our approach to microtransactions in the game. It's no secret that MTX and RuneScape currently represents a major part of how we fund the game, but we can't put our head in the sand and keep things going the way they are. I love this because this feels like exactly what it's been for like a decade. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't mean that in a way to offend anyone at Jagex if you're listening, but it kind of feels like, this has been a non-starter forever. When we listen to the community or even look at stats from our MTX survey last year, the story is so clear. We have lost players to the way we approach microtransactions. This is not how we secure our next 25 years and more. Holy crap. This is some bars. 42% of responders feel microtransactions currently detract from their experience. I honestly thought this would be higher, but I mean, that's still like almost half the player base. Of those who buy microtransactions, 86% of them are unhappy with the mechanics of Treasure Hunter. So almost everybody that gives this game money doesn't like it. That's insane. Like 9 out of 10 people who buy Treasure Hunter who buy microtransactions don't like the mechanics of the microtransactions that they're buying. 60% of X players felt that microtransactions detracted from their experience of the game. Of X players, yup. 63% of X players said they would be more likely to return if we address key concerns with XP related MTX. I mean, all of this makes sense to me. So we're going to change it. We will materially change the way microtransactions work in RuneScape, and our ultimate ambition, and its ambition at this stage, and it is an ambition at this stage, is to entirely redesign the way we approach monetization in RuneScape. We are willing to take risks, to trust in you to help us, to get rid of the taint of our current approach. This is one of many huge opportunities for RuneScape to grow, and we're going to grab it with both hands. This will be difficult, and it will take time. There's a lot involved getting this right and doing it responsibly while making sure we can sustain the game. But with your involvement, we know we can get it right and secure an exciting long-term future for the game. So on that note, let's dive into what we're planning to do, why, and how you can get involved. I want you guys to know I'm going to be very annoying about this. Every single experiment, I am probably going to make a video on it. I'm just telling you guys right now, I am going to be all over this because I think it is so important. It is something I care so deeply about. So expect, if you're following the channel or following on YouTube, expect to get updates on every single one of these experiments and my thoughts on like literally everything, because I just think that's so important right now. Let's keep it moving. We must find a better approach for what and how we offer additional purchases within RuneScape. To do this, we need a better understanding of the impact of potential changes through actions that can lead us to definitive decisions, and more importantly, definitive change. In the next few weeks, we'll begin to launch a series of in-game experiments to test our thinking against some key criteria. 1, the reception to these alternatives within the community, and 2, their expected contribution to the financial stability of the game. That is business for how much money it makes. All this seems reasonable so far. Do people like it? Does it make us money? And then ideally you settle on something that both people like and makes money. Rather than talking about what we might do, we want to put it in practice by openly evaluating our stuff within the game. We'll do this through new experiments. Experiments are our way of getting tangible feedback and data on potential changes. Through these experiments, we can learn what choices the community makes in a real-world situation rather than designs on paper or through abstract questions in a survey. Whether you choose to participate or simply look at it through the lens of how do I feel about this, it's a chance for everyone to have a voice. We'll also be closely looking at the data to see how these decisions influence player behavior too. These really are experiments, which means some of these may be clear winners and some may have problems. This is about trying things, listening, and learning. Here's what to expect from the experiment process. Announcement. A blog detailing the experiment, its purpose, and release timing. Deployment. Experiment goes live for 1 to 14 days. Community feedback. We'll absorb your feedback from across the community while the experiment is live. Then removal. Experiment is removed from the game. Beginning in July, you can expect the following experiments to pop up over the next 3 months. Disabling treasure hunt. Oh my god. Seeing that written down, like genuinely seeing that written. Oh, actually rip bozo. Rip bozo. Disabling treasure hunter. We will turn off treasure hunter, instead offering bundles of stars and knowledge bombs for direct purchase, capped at 1 bundle per day. So for this first experiment, basically it's what if we don't give XP? We give bonus XP. I have been saying this for years. This is what I would like our future MTX to look like. You can't spin your way through levels. You need to actually play the game. And that is like a billion trillion times better. It also means for the skilling economy and the price of items and the free market, anyone who is training any skill needs to buy supplies from the Grand Exchange or farm them yourself because you're not skipping all of it. Okay, DXP event with only bonus XP available. We will disable the use of proteins, dummies, lamps, and other skilling of items via MTX entirely in our autumn DXP. So this is interesting. I think this one is going to be very abrasive because players that don't read the blogs and don't watch the videos are going to log it on DXP and then find all of their proteins are disabled and then they're going to throw a fit. But I do like it. I think in terms of data, the most interesting data is going to come from this one because the idea is what happens on DXP with no MTX items. Because right now DXP happens and it's just everyone sitting at Fort Frid 3 just spamming dummies and proteins. Like that is the vast majority of DXP. So if you get rid of the proteins and the dummies, what happens? Do you still get a ton of people playing, but they're just playing the game? Or maybe you get a situation where nobody plays during DXP and maybe the purpose of DXP is lessened. Maybe the point of DXP is to sell MTX. So without this kind of MTX, maybe you don't need to do 3 DXPs every year. Thoughts? Third one is Cosmetic Mega Drop. We'll offer a large selection of past cosmetic overrides, including some previously only available from Treasure Hunter, for direct purchase all at once. Whichever team came up with the 3 experiments to run, I think they're all perfect. They're not perfect in terms of like, this one's gonna piss people off, obviously. This one could be just like no MTX at all. You know what I mean? But each one kind of has its own subset of intel that you're gonna get out of it, right? Do people who buy MTX still buy MTX if they have to use it by playing the game? This one is, does DXP have a purpose without proteins, dummies, and lamps? And then this one is, will people buy cosmetics with real money if they just buy the thing that they're buying instead of having to gamble for it? That's sort of my interpretation of it. I've also been asking for this forever too, probably at least 10 years. It's insane to say 10 years, but literally for 10 years, I have said, I want this cosmetic. Can I just buy it? Do I have to gamble? Or can I just buy the thing? I would like to buy the thing, please. And I'm sure there's going to be a ton of like pricing discourse on this. Like whatever the price they're set to is going to have a huge impact on how people feel about it. But this is so much better. Even if you look at things like ability overrides, I buy them on the GE with GP. I would absolutely pay $7 or $4 or whatever it is for like the Red Skull Death Skulls override as an example. I would absolutely do that. But I'm not going to buy Treasure Hunter keys and gamble for it. That's not happening. Especially for Iron Man players too. A lot of cosmetics are just unavailable to you completely because you're an Iron Man. So this might actually be a boon of monetization where whatever percentage of the player base is Iron Man. I know it's not a huge percentage, but those players can now buy cosmetics if they want to. We'll also have one more bonus experiment based on feedback over the years. Cosmetic-free worlds. This is a crazy one because wasn't there a clip a few years ago of kind of someone like kind of joking at the fact that cosmetic-free worlds would never happen? Well, we don't have an exact launch window for this yet. We expect to release no later than August and run them until the end of our experiment window. This will help us gauge demand for a more grounded visual look and our cosmetic-free experiences. So this is an interesting one. I definitely think this is a polarizing one because I know a lot of RuneScape players care deeply about what their characters look like. And I think it's very valid to say, like, I want other, like, part of the reason why cosmetics are desirable is because you want other people to look at you. As silly as that is, you want other people looking at you and seeing the cosmetics you have. It's not about what my character looks like. It's about being perceived. For some players, I'm not really a player like that. I generally couldn't care less, but I know there are a lot of players that care about what their account looks like. So there are kind of 2 possibilities here. Possibility 1, it turns into kind of an old school system where when you're actually killing a boss, you're wearing the gear you're killing the boss in. And when you are bank standing at Warrior's Retreat, because I know you're spending half of your time bank standing at Warriors Retreat. You're actually just wearing stuff that you think looks cool. So that's one version of this. The other version of this is people might hate this because they've spent money on cosmetics and now people can play somewhere where they're disabled. I am personally kind of excited about it as someone that actually really likes the grounded visuals. And it's not like, I know some people have this like massive hate thing for like wings. I don't care at all about wings. I'm not fussed about wings, but in general, I think it would be cool to play on a world where you could actually see people's gear and that's what they had equipped. That's really all it is. That's the same reason why when I play my main for a lot of the last 12 years, I don't use any cosmetics, and it's the same as my my hardcore. Until the Woodland Archer tunic came out, I didn't wear a single cosmetic. Same with my Group Iron Man. My Group Iron Man doesn't wear a single cosmetic and didn't for the entire series. It's just the way that I prefer to play. Yeah, to me, maybe this makes more sense as a toggle so that you can have your own visual experience and others can have their own curated visual experience. But either way, seems good. Like it seems interesting to look at. Also, Mod Huli is confirming that it could end up being a toggle. The test isn't the end solution, more to gauge interest and feedback. Cool. Let's keep moving. What comes next? These experiments mark a 3-month road ahead of us. Over that time, we expect to gather enough insight to help us make big decisions on how we approach MTX going forward. Depending on what we learn, this may be all we need to know. If we feel there's still things we need to test, we may try a few more experiments in the following months. Either way, we'll be communicating clearly and openly a little while after these experiments so you know exactly what to expect. Something I would like, and I know this is probably not going to happen, but I'm going to ask for it anyway, because Mod Huli is here. I'm going to shoot my shot. Mod Huli's already said uh-oh in chat. I think it would be really cool to have a retroactive after each experiment, like maybe it's 4 weeks after. And I know that like that's another blog and it might be info that can't be shared, but I would love to know if the internal teams deemed them to be successful or unsuccessful or kind of meh, somewhere in the middle. Like I think it's part of it's purely out of like interest and my science brain, but I think it would be interesting to have a retroactive after each experiment to be like, hey, this is what we learned from this. Turns out 90% of people didn't log in on DXP when there were no proteins. We had to talk about that in the original plan, may very well happen, but minimum is a commitment from an end process follow-up. Good suggestion. Cool. Also, according to Mod Huli, going back up to the third experiment, it's apparently direct purchase, but it's actually going to be via Runecoins. And Mod Huli is saying that specifically because it was easier to implement it via Runecoins. Just for the sake of it being quickest to implement, so we can keep it to 3 months. We'll confirm a few weeks in advance with a full experiment blog. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, to me, it'd be better if it was just money, like $5.99, but also, yeah. Runecoins do exist. I get it. It makes sense. Commitments. See, this is an important one. We've had some false starts in our past. That is putting things very lightly. When it comes to sharing an intention to remove or reduce monetization, particularly with new offerings. In acknowledgement of that, we have some firm commitments you can hold us to. Our intent with these commitments is to give you confidence that positively participating is leading us to something better. What we will do. We will communicate context on our decisions. We will communicate early and often, providing space for discussion and debate. We will consider all types of players and communities throughout our decision making. We will consider every kind of player, spender, and community space in feedback for our experiment evaluations. We don't expect to please everyone, but no one perspective trumps all others. I actually really like the inclusion of this line. I think it's important because sometimes people go, well, I'm just one random player. I don't have a voice. I play differently from other people. I don't feel the way they do. I feel unheard. So I actually do really like this. I think it's as important to listen to the big voices as it is to listen to the little voices. And that's why when I'm sitting here yapping on a stream and I'm giving my thoughts on every experiment and having discussions about every experiment and having discussions about this blog and this video, if you don't agree with me, that should be entirely okay. That should be a situation where I'm going to make my voice heard and you can too, and our voices are both equally important. And I think that's really, really good. We don't expect to please everyone, but no one perspective trumps all others. 3, we will use this opportunity to approach MTX in a way that is healthier for the game. We hear your concerns about the existing impact of MTX offerings. Addressing this is a core part of our design approach to any solution. This is a funny one because it's basically saying this is a firm commitment that somehow we're not going to come out of this, and the end solution is going to be let's make MTX even worse, which I think everyone knows in the back of their head. It's like this feels too good to be true, and I think that's why this line is here. Can you imagine if we came out of this experiment period and then Treasure Hunter got removed, and it got replaced with Crate of Riches Wheel, which is just like the same thing, but more. So I like that this is a firm commitment. I'm making a joke about it, but I am glad that this is a firm commitment, that it's not going to come out worse. Because, like, remember when Squeal of Fortune was removed? Maybe some of y'all in chat maybe weren't even born when Squeal of Fortune was removed. But there was this whole big thing, and Yelps got murdered, which was awesome. And then everyone was like, woohoo, Squeal of Fortune's dead. And then Treasure Hunter came, and Treasure Hunter was just the same, but worse. What we won't do, we will not use this opportunity to be more aggressive at offering XP benefits outside of core game loop. I love this. Memes aside, jokes aside, I think RuneScape, and this might be a bit of a hot take, but I think RuneScape is a million times better as a game when you actually have to play the game to progress. Even if your progression is accelerated, even if you're using bonus XP, I think that in order to, and I'll give you an absolutely egregious example. Hold up, let me log into my main. What I'm about to tell you is absolutely disgusting, but it's true. And I think it's important to contextualize my experience with how I feel about this, because, oh my God, I am 120 rune crafting without crafting a single rune. But wait, there's more. I am 115 crafting. I have never made a piece of armor or cut a single gem. But wait, there's more. I am 120 divination, and I started training divination at level 119. Like actually going to the rift and training divination. But wait, there is even more. 110 prayer, have not buried a bone post 99. I am 118 agility, and I have not run an agility lap since level 70. And I have not spent money on MTX. That's just from random bundle proteins. And I think that is so bad that is the way to get. Look, I've completed 4 Anachronia laps and I'm 118 agility. I'm not telling you this so that you know I'm a fraud. I'm telling you this to say, this is someone that has not spent money on microtransactions other than like when it's like a humble bundle thing. I have 120s and 200 mils where I never trained this skill. That's insane. Just from free spins. And I just think that is so egregiously bad from a gameplay standpoint. I will tell you this though. Fishing, cooking, construction, I did those all myself. Be very proud of me. That's sort of why I wanted to log into my main and kind of make that point. That's how bad it's gotten. That's the reality of it. If you look at my comments on my last video that was talking about MTX stuff in the survey, it was all people saying, yeah, I'm literally 200 mil in 8 skills that I haven't trained yet. To me, if you move to a system where you're giving people bonus XP only, that is so much better. Because then if you want to trade a skill, you still have to train the skill. What we won't do, we will not use the opportunity to be more aggressive in offering XP benefits outside the core game loop. Love the mention of gameplay loops. If you drank every time I said gameplay loop, you would literally end up in the hospital. But I think it's important. We may explore optional offerings that serve those who are shorter on time in the future, but not in a way that discourages gameplay. Like, see this? This is perfect. To me, it's very clear that the goal is to get people playing the game again. Play the freaking game. I'm trying not to swear. The era of this being a taboo subject for us is over. We will continue to invite community feedback on how we approach MTX going forward. What if all of these are sneaky double negatives? What we won't do. So we won't not use this opportunity to be more aggressive. Wait a second. We won't not make our final changes without showing them to you first. I think I've cracked the code. That's what this is. This is a legal loophole. We're being deceived. Content remains king. While there's a lot going on with this, it's important we're really clear on what this means for the core game. That's what matters most. Everything you've heard about today has zero impact on our content development or roadmaps. Absolutely zero. The team that currently works on microtransactions are the team working through this project and every experiment. No developers or resources have been moved to this project from existing content, and it will stay that way. The roadmap is protected. It remains our top priority, always. Love that. Seems good to me. Although I'm not going to lie, I think if you polled players and said, how would you feel about no updates for 3 months, but at the end of the 3 months we have better MTX? I honestly think a lot of players, I would definitely say absolutely yes to that. But either way, I do think this is important. We need your support. Today is just the beginning of a journey and a lot of conversation is ahead of us. We know a subject like this won't always be the easiest to talk about. You are one of the most knowledgeable and considerate communities you could ask for in gaming. Sorry. Sorry. My bad. Hey, at least I'm self-aware about it. Openly in ways other games could never even consider. You know what? This part is true. I have not heard of another game doing this. Like, usually games, I mean, including this one, do MTX creep. Like, it gets bigger and worse. When stepping into the unknown, there's always a chance some ideas may not work as is or feel right. Please do your best to provide us and your fellow players the space to approach this constructively. Clear, thoughtful critiques or validations will make all the difference to us truly learning from this and finding our path forward for the game. Let's get this done together, Scapers. Yeah, that's a big one too, is, I mean, I think you guys know this. I actually do think you guys have gotten really, really good at it, as have I. I think I used to be way more abrasive. I think my community used to be way more abrasive as well in their feedback. I think part of that was like, you yell as loud as you can if you feel you're not being heard. And then when they finally hear you, you've been hurling abuse at them. And that's not good. So this is one where it's pretty clear they're going to listen. There's going to be spots to put feedback. And I would advocate that everyone use their voice and give their feedback and give their thoughts constructively. Sometimes I see a lot of feedback that is like, wow, whoever made this is stupid. It should be like this. And it's like, bro, if you got rid of the whoever made this was stupid, someone would actually probably look at it and take your feedback on. So I think it's one of those things where the more constructive we can be, I think the better a chance this is to put RuneScape in a spot to succeed for a long time, which is what I think everybody wants. Clear, thoughtful critiques and validations will make all the difference in us truly learning from this and finding our path forward in the game. A final word. As Mod North, Jagex CEO, talked about the importance of this product in his recent Q&A, only felt fitting that we leave his final words of this blog to him. Over to you, Mod North. Hi, Scapers. Earlier this year, I talked about the importance of shoring up the next 25 years of RuneScape. This isn't just a nice, fluffy statement. It's a company-wide mission. RS3's success should be measured by the size, engagement, and satisfaction of the community, and that change begins now. We will rejuvenate RuneScape 3's future by putting community growth at the heart of our model for the game. Every player of this game deserves to feel the same ownership that we've fostered so well in our OSRS community, and that will lead us to thriving community this game deserves. Dude, like, actually, like, pinch me. This is something that's been said, I don't know, I've been saying this forever. I know a lot of people have. I'm not saying that I'm like a genius for coming up with this, but the way that old school feels is just better than RuneScape 3. And this to me is an admission of that. Like, they're literally comparing it and saying, wow, the players of old school feel an ownership in the old school community. And RuneScape 3 players don't have that. And that is so true. That is so 1,000,000% true. We can only get there through strong focus on integrity, from the way we monetize to how the game looks and addressing the challenges with a broader player experience. Along with that needs to be a focus on delivering great roadmaps packed with as much grade A content we can possibly deliver. Addressing MTX is a first big step of so many to come. It's also our most challenging. MTX is currently a big part of the game's model, and any serious overhaul of the RS3 monetization will come at a cost. And that means some real risk. But we must be bold, because frankly, not making changes in the interest in the integrity of RS3 also represents a real risk to the future of this beauty of a game too. I like this too, because it's saying, yes, this is going to cost us a ton, and this is absolutely terrifying because the game runs on money from MTX. But I think it's pretty clear that there's been some kind of data that shows that MTX is specifically preventing the game from growing. Like, I think it's pretty clear based on the how punchy this blog has been, that it kind of feels like, pardon my French, it kind of feels like there was like a holy shit moment. Like, someone looked at the data and was like, boss, we've found the problem. Because they're saying not changing MTX is also a risk. Today's experiments speak to how seriously we're taking this goal. Gone is the age of speaking in debate on how we could do this. It's now about action. We'll move as quickly as we can to learn what we need to and get us those material changes we're promising as soon as we can. Bear with us as we test, learn, and understand the implications of setting up this new era for the game. Later this year, I look forward to us running through our vision and the future of what we've learned. See you in Gillinar now and for many years to come. Modhuli is actually providing some intel here too. Modhuli saying the survey had the biggest lapsed player response we've had for RS3, and that in itself was very telling. Yeah, a lapsed player means a player that used to play. I think the definition can change depending on the studio, but I think for RuneScape it's like played over a year ago, but used to play. I think it's something like that. It's in that ballpark anyway. But yeah, honestly, huge. But here's what that sends, right? The message that sends is that people who quit this game want to see the best for it, and they quit for specific reasons, right? To me, that means that they left the game, but they wish they hadn't felt like they had to. That bodes really well. Like, I think RuneScape's IP is really, really strong. And RuneScape, even people that don't play this game, care about this game. They have reasons why they didn't play again. Or sorry, they have reasons why they stopped playing, but they would come back and play again if XYZ was done. Like, and it's different things, right? For some people, it's MTX. For some people, it's combat stuff. For some people, it's Switch Escape. For some people, it's macros. For some people, it's XP curves or skills going to 110. For some people, they quit because their friends quit or because old school was getting better updates. Like, everyone's got their own reasons for quitting, but targeting some of those things, it feels like is a good way to get people back. Yeah, the other thing too is, like, if you go to my YouTube channel, I get a lot of comments either flaming me for playing RS3, but I get a lot of comments that are like, hey Ryan, haven't played RuneScape in 3 years, but I still watch every video and I still love the game. And it would be so cool to be able to capitalize on those people and get them back. Like, to me, if this stuff came through, and obviously I'm only speaking for me here, so there's no need to like get it twisted, but I actually would change my entire content roadmap and plan, and I would play my main more. Like, progression would feel actually real and valuable on my main in a way that it hasn't in years. These are things that I've kind of avoided going for just because I don't like playing my main. And it is entirely because of MTX that I don't like playing my main. It just gives me like a little bit of an iffy feeling. So, sounds good, but the problem is, even if they remove it now, the damage is done. Yeah, so that's something that I've thought about a bit too. Obviously, the genie is out of the bottle, and you can put the genie back in the bottle, but the genie was still out there granting wishes, right? So there are definitely going to be main accounts that remain tainted by MTX, but I'm kind of a believer in different eras having different metas, and players will always kind of gravitate the most efficient way to progress. It's still a massive net positive. Like, you're not going to restart the servers and do fresh servers that have never been touched by MTX, because that's like giving the finger to every single active player that you have, or anyone who's put time in, right? You're not going to win back players if you do that. But you get rid of the gotcha gambling mechanics. You get rid of the gambling stuff. You get rid of the buying direct XP that's terrible for the economy and skips your gameplay loop. You put monetization back into the character and direct purchases. You do the avatar refresh, and all of a sudden RuneScape becomes a game where you've got all this stuff and all these elephants in the room you can't talk about, to a game that I would genuinely recommend to a friend and say, yeah, you should make an account. You could play. It would be fun. And I think that has value. I know for some people, there's this all or nothing approach where it's like, doesn't matter, damage is done. Because MTX was a thing and Jagex didn't make a time machine, it's still doomed. And I think if you're going to be that level of cynical, just remember that you're going to feel that way about anything. But yeah, to me, I think this was about the best case scenario. Like, honestly, this is probably the best case scenario. It's a statement, let's see if they follow through. Yep, I like the firm commitments. Obviously, yeah, there is some cynicism that is deserved, right? Like, I'm not going to blindly trust everything in here. I think that would be a little silly, but I will say I'm cautiously optimistic for sure. Everything in here is good. The commitments are good. The experiments I'm interested in, I think all of them are good. I think the direction is good. It seems very clearly we want players playing the game again. And I actually think the end result of that is going to be a way better game too, because I think a lot of skilling methods in the game, and you guys can let me know how you feel about this, but I think about half the skilling methods in this game have just completely gone out of date. They're outdated. They could use a lick of paint. They could use updates. They could use things that make them more interesting, more fun, more compelling. And one of the reasons why they don't get updated is because no one uses them, because everyone's using proteins. So I actually think the core game could improve through this, because all of a sudden, all of the players need to actually play the game. Looking at you, Agility. With all that said and all those thoughts, I would love to hear what you guys think about this in the comments down below. And also, before the end of the video, a commitment from me. I'm gonna make sure that I'm covering every single experiment, and I'm giving you my thoughts on all of these changes as they're happening. I think this is a really important moment for the future of RuneScape, and this is something that I care so deeply about. So we are gonna be absolutely all over this one. With that said, if you want any of my future coverage or any of my future RuneScape videos, subscribe to make sure you don't miss a beat. With that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon for the next one.